Now, recently I was round a friend's house and we were photo editing, and I pointed out to him that one of his photos would look really good in black and white. So he pressed the black and white button, looked back at me and went, "What do you think?" Now, if that's something that you do, then this is the video for you, because you are missing out on the true potential of your black and white photos. Don't just simply change it into black and white. There are so many more changes that we can do in Lightroom to really make your photos pop. And I'm gonna start right now. Okay, so this is the photo that I'm going to be editing today. And as you can see, it's a really nice photo of a mountain. But obviously at the moment it is in color. So let's go ahead firstly and convert it into black and white. Now there's two ways of doing that. The first way and the easiest way is go into your basics panel, go into the section right at the top, and you can see there is a black and white button. But if you love using shortcuts, go ahead and click V on your keyboard. That is the quickest way to turn your photo into black and white. Now, the very first tool that I like using when actually editing my black and white photos is the color mixer tool. Now, you might be thinking, well, James, we've removed color. How the hell can we use the color mixer tool? Well, actually, Lightroom rename it when you convert a photo into black and white. So if we exit out of the basics panel, you'll notice that it's now no longer called color mixer. It's called B and W, or black and white. And you've got these 8 sliders here. And basically it will allow you to change the luminosity of your black and white photo depending on the colors that you took. So for example, to show you this, I'm going to convert the photo back into color really quickly. We obviously know the sky is blue, the mountain is white, and then we've got the forest and fields here are a yellow and green mixture. So when we convert the photo back into black and white, you can see that we can find those colors in the color bands. So for example, let's say I want to brighten the sky in this image. Well, I can go to aqua and blue and simply raise those up. And you can see it makes a big impact to our photo. So for example, I might go for something like so. So I might go for 5 for aqua and then 25 for blue. And then remember, the forest was predominantly green and I want to darken the forest in this photo. So I'd go to my green slider, go ahead and slide that down as well as with yellow, adding in more contrast to the foreground while making the sky a little bit brighter. And actually, I really like this photo. Now, of course, you can always go back to your main exposure sliders and change those according, so I might brighten it up a little bit further. But don't forget that just because there is no color in your image doesn't mean you can't use the color mixer tool, or in this particular case, it's now called the black and white mixture tool. It's a really useful tool to really take back control the luminance of the colors that were there in your now black and white photo. Now, another tool you can use is actually the color grading tool. And again, you might be head scratching going, well, there's no color. But actually you can create a color and basically create a monochromatic look, create like a sepia look if that's something that you want to do. Now, I don't do this to all my black and white photos, but some black and white photos look really good in a specific tone instead of it just being black and white. So for example, if we go ahead and open up the color grading tool, I'd recommend leaving shadows, midtones, and highlights alone. I'd recommend going to the global color. This is where we can add in a specific hue of your choice. So for example, I might go to an orangey tone, so for example, hue of 35, and then go ahead and add in saturation. You can see we're adding in this oldie-woldy kind of style sepia look, but of course you can do this with any color of your choice, maybe blue for example, which will probably work really nice for this photo. So for example, I might choose hue of 220, and then saturation of around 30. We've got this really cool blue look without it overpowering the image. So we've gone for this monochromatic look. So instead of just boring black and white, you might want to convert your photo into a very subtle hue, which can really work for photos like this. And my last tool I want to talk about is masking. And masking is a really helpful tool when editing our black and white photos. Now don't forget, when editing your black and white photo, we're removing an aspect from our image, color, which means you'll place more of a focus on the texture of your image, the composition of your image. Removing color can really make you focus on other parts of your image. And that is where masking is really helpful. We can create local dodging and burning to really emphasize certain parts of our image while de-emphasizing other parts. So for example, let's go ahead over to my masking. Now I've already created a small mask already. You can see that kind of area affecting the sky, but I might want to add a few more. For example, I might want to darken the bottom half of this image to really, because I find it's a bit distracting from the main mountain. So what I can do is go create new mask, go down to linear gradient. I'm going to create a gradient at the bottom half of this image, go to my exposure here and simply bring it down ever so slightly. Now, originally, I thought the mounting was quite vibrant. Again, it was quite rich in color, especially the darker part of the bottom. But obviously, when converting it into black and white, we've lost that color. So adding in a small luminosity mask can really help bring back information back, or bring back the powerfulness of the mounting. So I might actually bring it down a little bit further. You can also, again, add in temperature and tint if you want to, but for most cases, I don't really like doing that. As well as, don't forget, you need to think about texture. You want to add in texture to parts of the photo that you want to make stand out. So for example, I want to add in more texture to the mounting. So for example, I'm going to go to Create New Mask. I'm going to go ahead and select Sky. Now you might be thinking that's a bit peculiar, because what I like doing is actually inverting it, selecting the foreground. Now you can select background, but sometimes it doesn't work quite well. So for landscape photos, I love selecting the sky and then basically inverting that selection. Then what I'm going to do is go down to Texture, Clarity and Dehaze and add in some more texture, especially clarity, as it really sharpens the image. Again, removing color can make you focus on other parts or other aspects of your photo, and texture is definitely one of them. I always recommend for going a nice high contrast photo with lots of texture if you are converting it into black and white. So I'm gonna go for 20% clarity here, and I'm probably gonna go for 30% texture. And immediately, this looks a lot better. So here is the before, just the standard image, converting it into black and white. And then here is the after the changes that we've made with those 3 tools. And as you can see, it makes a really big impact to your photo. And there we have it. There are a couple changes that you can make inside Lightroom to make your black and white photos pop inside Lightroom. Thank you to all of my YouTube members that are currently supporting the channel. If you guys want to support the channel and get some awesome perks, including free Lightroom presets, and there's a few black and white ones in there, make sure to go ahead to the link in the description. I've been James for Photo Fever, and I'll catch you guys on Thursday.